Guys, so the next team we're going to be talking about is the Los Angeles Kings. They made a lot of moves at the trade deadline and a big move in the offseason, getting Pierre-Luc Dubois. The biggest question, though, is their goaltending. Matt, Darius, you know what, Darius? Let me defer to you first. It's been a while. How do you feel about the Kings going into this year's NHL season?
Scary, scary team. This is besides their goaltending, but we'll get into it. You got a three-headed monster coming up the middle now. That's pretty scary. You got Pierre-Luc Dubois as your second line center. That's a huge change. Obviously, first line is great with Byfield now taking up the reins on the left wing up there. Kopitar through the middle and Kempe. He's been a great player. You know, he's good for like 40 goals a year. Kaliev, did you guys see what happened last night? Just got suspended. He won't be starting the season with them. Knee on knee.
Wasn't he suspended 2 preseason games?
And 2 regular season. 4 games total.
Oh, honestly, I got the notification and didn't read the whole thing.
So yeah, no, I just thought that was interesting. But anyway, Kevin Fiala on the left wing there, super. That's a good line. And Kaliev is a pure scorer, so that's great. Trevor Moore is good depth. Deneau being your third line center is really like this is a deep team. And then the fourth line is whatever. Trevor Lewis also like 40,000 years old. I can't believe that guy's still in the NHL.
Good for him.
Good for him. Good for him. Their defense is also pretty solid. They just locked up Gavrikov. Matt Waugh was really good last year too. Brant Clark's finally going to get a look at the NHL level, and he's a really good player too. Drew Doughty, if he can continue to play at the level he's usually at, that'd be great. Mikey Anderson's solid. But the only thing I see with this team and why they probably will not be able to win a Stanley Cup is the goaltending. What were they thinking? Like coming into this year, how do you not go out and get a goalie? You got Phoenix Copley, who throughout like half of last season they figured out,
he was decent.
He was decent, but then they're like, oh shit, we should probably go trade for somebody, which is the same story this year. And Cam Talbot is no longer, no man, like
he's not 73 games for the Oilers. Cam Talbot,
and that's probably why he isn't anymore because he played that many games that one year. So the only reason I see this team being, they're going to be a great team. They're going to be a playoff team. It's a very scary team. But the goaltending might let them down. And as we know in the NHL, goaltending can have a huge effect, especially in the playoffs.
That's crazy. Matt.
Yeah, the biggest question mark regarding this Kings team, besides what Darius mentioned with the goalies, is if Brant Clark can sort of take like not like a ginormous step, but like more of a step to take the pressure off Drew Doughty on the blue line.
Yeah, that's huge for them, honestly. Just looking like they have a deep ass team, as Darius said. And versatile too. Dubois played more left wing than anything last year. When you dive in, so he can shift. I don't know how I feel is going to be as a center at the NHL level. He did have decent numbers on the first line with Kopitar and Kempe, but he had probably the worst shooting percentage I've ever seen. It was like 1.7 or something. He just could not put the puck in the net. But I'm glad he's finally been able to find his footing. Second overall pick, you'd like the guy to be a little good for you, which is decent because Byfield's a fun player. Very interesting player. He's huge, has decent hands, so hopefully he's solid there. Is there, dude? I thought Darius. I thought you were frozen because you weren't moving. That shit was crazy. Anyway,
I'm just an attentive listener. I just maybe I should get a moving background. I should get a moving background like you. No, I was dialed into what you were saying.
All right, but anyway, the Kings, they're deep and solid defensively, offensively, but it's so weird to me because their big question is going to be goaltending, man. They traded for Korpisalo last year. They didn't like the way he played. The Oilers kind of fucked him up. I ain't gonna lie, but they didn't keep him. He goes to Ottawa, but they did get the guy. It's interesting because you had Iafallo and you had Velarde, who to me were great players. The question is Dubois better than the impact both Iafallo and Velarde had on the team? Because those two were very good players. Just diving into what The Athletic was saying in terms of the Kings ratings, they're great all through line. Like even Victor Arvidsson is a guy who contributes. He was good in Nashville. He's been good for them, and just solid all the way through. I like their lineup. Like we were talking about rebuilding on the fly. Like they never really rebuilt on the fly per se, but they were bad enough where they were able to get a couple of young players and then be good really quickly. And you still have like insulation from Doughty and Kopitar. I don't think Doughty's as great as he once was, but he still, got that, that cup experience. And, honestly, the experience of being good at one point, it's still good, even if you're not the greatest now, I think it's still valuable, especially because they want Brant Clark to be that guy. Gavrikov wasn't amazing in Columbus because he was on a shitty team. and then he goes to LA, plays amazing. They're good defensively, they're good offensively. Phoenix Copley and Talbot, not their guy. At the trade deadline, they're probably poking around. But guys, aside from goaltending, what could hinder the Kings here? Anything?
Yeah, not much, honestly. Like you said, like that's one of the deepest center cores in the league with like Kopitar, Dubois, even Philip Deneau. I don't think we've touched much on Philip Deneau here in the preview, but I mean, yeah, like Fiala Dubois should be a dynamite pairing on that Kings team, and let's hope Byfield takes a bigger step along with Brant Clark. Lots of question marks regarding the young talent on this team.
Another thing that's interesting with them is there's like a guy like Alex Turcotte probably not making the roster, and they took him pretty early. So it's interesting. Like maybe they're good to the point where they can trade him at the deadline, get an actual goalie. Who knows? But Darius, have anything else to add on the Kings here?
No, I think like Matt said, like you need the young guys to come into their own. I think that would be the only other question mark other than goaltending. So you just got to figure out the goaltending because there's no way it's going to be able to stay like that into the playoffs, and see what the young guys have and if Byfield can take that next step because he's a lot better than what he's shown so far too. So
yeah, like I know even like when you watch him in the O, he's super skilled, like an unbelievable amount of skill, especially for his body type. So the Kings, I think they're going to be one of the more fun teams to watch because they have so many interesting players. They made one of the bigger trades of the offseason. They're pretty deep. They're 4 lines deep, 6 defensemen deep. Jordan Spence and Brant Clark should be fun to watch. But guys, where are the Kings finishing in the Pacific Division this year?
Third, and we're getting Oilers Kings for the third straight year.
They are also finishing third, but with my other predictions, we will not be getting Oilers and Kings in the first round.
They will be third in the division as well, and we are not going to get. For me, we're also not going to get Oilers Kings. So yeah, the Vegas top 3 team sorry, not did I say Vegas? I meant the Kings top 3.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but
yeah, the Kings top 3 team in the division going to make the playoffs. Goaltending their biggest question, but we'll see. Gritcast says the Kings will be third in the division.
For more content, visit our YouTube channel and check us out on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Don't forget to follow the guys on social media at Matt_Mondays, at Nick LaFlame, and at Darius Dominguez.